God has so helped us that science is evolving in so many good ways that before girls will have to be using calendar. Girls will be having to use calendar, say, okay, it's not today, I've seen my period today. No, today now, just download an app on your phone. There are so many period tracking apps, and boom, there you have it. You're already tracking your menstrual cycle because the app is doing it for you. I'm using one myself, and I believe that most girls use period tracking apps. Okay, so that said, but if you're a girl though, and you've ever used a period tracking app, you will agree with me that your period tracking app will ask you, what is the length of your menstrual cycle? Now, it is with the information you give your period tracking app, okay, this is the length of my menstrual cycle, that it will be helping you to track your menstrual cycle. So if you give it the wrong information, how are you going to be able to track? So even to be able to use what technology has provided, you have to do some sort of manual tracking yourself. Now, different girls have different menstrual cycle lengths. Some girls have a menstrual cycle length of 21 days. Some girls have a menstrual cycle length of 28 days. Some other girls have menstrual cycle length of up to 30 days. So different girls have different menstrual cycle lengths. Now, when I say menstrual cycle length, what I mean is from the time you see your first period, you see your period this month, till the time you see your period the next month. That's your menstrual cycle length. How many days interval from the first day you saw your period this month till the day you see your period for the next month? Now, like I said, most girls have a menstrual cycle length of 28 days. Now, for the sake of this live stream, I'm going to be using the menstrual cycle length of 28 days to show you how to calculate your ovulation and how to know your period length and all of that. But the reason why I'm going to be using 28 days is because, like I said, most girls have a menstrual cycle length of 28 days. So that's the reason why I'm going to be using 28 days, to show you how to calculate your ovulation. Now, this is the question, this thing on how do I calculate my ovulation, how do I know my menstrual cycle length, these are questions that people have been asking on the comment section, on personal DM, and that's why I'm responding to it today on this live. So first of all, let's assume that you or me now, let's assume me, Eunice, I have a menstrual cycle length of 28 days. I have a menstrual cycle length of 28 days, like we can see in this calendar. Monday, day 1, like 1st of May 2023, is, let's assume that that's the first day of my menstrual cycle. Monday is the first day, like 1st of May is the first day of my menstrual cycle. Now, this first day of my menstrual cycle is the first day of my period. So if I start seeing my period on the 1st of May, which is few days from today, that is the first day of my menstrual cycle. Now, I'm probably going to be seeing my period, say, maybe for 3 to 4 days. So maybe from 1st of May to 4th of May, I'll be seeing my period. Because some girls, their period lasts for 4 days. Other girls last for 5 or even as long as 7 days. It just differs. But then the maximum is 7 days. So let's assume I see my period from 1st to 4th. Those days are for my period. But then my menstrual cycle has started counting 1st of May. Now, since my menstrual cycle length is 28 days, I am going to be ovulating most likely on the 14th of May. Now, the reason why I'm going to be ovulating on the 14th of May is because your ovulation comes mid your period. So the middle, not your period, sorry, your ovulation comes at the middle of your menstrual cycle. So the middle of my menstrual cycle for me, who has a menstrual cycle of 28 days, will be on day 14. So let's assume even if my period did not start on the 1st, let's say my period starts on the 2nd, that means I'm going to be ovulating on the 15th of May, because like I said, it is 14 days. You start menstruating on the 1st, you see your period on the 14th. You start on the 2nd, you see you start seeing your period on the 1st, you ovulate on the 14th. You start seeing your period on the 2nd, you ovulate on the 15th. So it's just from the day you start seeing your period, count till 14 days. On that day 14 is the day you are ovulating. It is the mid of your menstrual cycle. That's for those who have a menstrual cycle length of 28 days, which is the most girls have a menstrual cycle length of 28 days. That's why I'm using 28 days for this live stream. So now you see you ovulate on day 14. Now, after my ovulation, from my ovulation day now, I will count another 14 days. Now, if I count from my ovulation day on that 14 days, it should take me to 28th of May. Around 29th of May now, I should see my next period. I start seeing my period on the 1st of May. 14 days from the day I start seeing my period, that is 14th of May, I ovulated. 14 days after I ovulated, I get my next period, 29th of May. Yeah? I believe like that makes like sense to you. Understand what I'm trying to pass. I believe you've understood how to calculate your ovulation. Now, I used to hear some girls saying, I should see my period twice a month, that means I will have twins. I see my period twice a month, that means I will have twins. Who told you? Look, there's nothing special about seeing your period twice a month. Almost every girl has seen her period twice a month at some point. Because then, let's be frank, if you start seeing your period on the 1st of May, and by 29th of May, you're going to start seeing another period. If you have a menstrual cycle length of 28 days, that's already as if you are seeing it twice in a month, because then 29th to 1st of the next month, you are seeing period. You've already seen it twice a month. So, depending on your menstrual cycle length, you can see your period twice a month. For those who have a menstrual cycle length of 21 days, that one now shorting you'll be seeing period even two times. It's not because there's 30, some days have up to 30, some months have up to 30 days, some months have up to 31 days. I believe like I'm making some sense. So I believe I've explained to you properly how to calculate your ovulation. Now, if you still do not understand, please ask me. If you have a menstrual cycle length of 29 days, just know somewhere in your mind that your ovulation comes at the middle of your menstrual cycle. So if you have a menstrual cycle length of 29 days, you are ovulating around 14, 15, 16. Most likely day 15 you ovulate. If you have a menstrual cycle length of 30 days, you are most likely going to be ovulating on day 6, on day 16 or on day 15. Yeah, on day 15. Just, I don't know, you understand the math. 14 days after you start seeing your period, you ovulate. 14 days after you ovulate, you should see your next period. Now, like I said at the beginning of this live stream, if you want to get pregnant, the best time to have sex is the day you are ovulating. That's the best time. But then, that's not the only time that if you have sex, you can get pregnant too. Because few days to your ovulation, you become fertile. You know that sperm is capable of living inside a a girl's body for up to 3 to 4 days. So even if you have sex, let's say you have to ovulate on 14th of May and you have sex on 12th of May, my sister, it can still enter. You can still get pregnant. Now, if you are somebody who is looking to get pregnant, you want to be able to know, okay, I'm ovulating on this day, so that you can time when you want to have sex, so that at least you can give yourself higher chance of having a child. Now, there are different ways to know when you are ovulating. Now, one of the ways to know that you are ovulating, you'll be seeing this sticky, slimy mucus, your cervical mucus. You'll be seeing it come out. Like if maybe you go to pee, you will notice it on your undies. It's sticky, it's slimy. I don't know if so many girls experience this. Now, another way to know that, hey, I'm ovulating today, I'm ovulating, is by keeping track of your menstrual cycle. We've already said that 14 days from the day you see your period, 14 days after, you're most likely going to be ovulating. So if you do the math, you can guess the day you are going to be ovulating. Now, another way to know that I'm ovulating today is by observing your body temperature when you wake up. So if you know that around this time I'm going to be ovulating, and you wake up on the day and you check your temperature and it's like it's slightly high, you should know that you are most likely ovulating that day. Now, one of the easiest way and one of the surest way to know that I'm ovulating today is by using ovulation test kits. So you can just walk into any pharmacy and ask for an ovulation test kit, and they'll sell one to you, and then you use it to check. To just know, just like checking that you're pregnant, just this time around you're checking that you're ovulating. Okay, so now I've told you why you need to know when you're ovulating, in case you want to get pregnant. Now, in your menstrual cycle, there are some days that are called your non-fertile days. These days are believed to be days that even if you have sex that day, you will not carry belly. Yes, and these are days like maybe few days before your period. You know, if you ovulate on day 14, from around like day 16, 17. From day 17, you are going into your non-fertile days. It is believed that if you have sex around this period, there is no pregnancy for you. But my dear, that is not a very sure method of avoiding pregnancy. Like I've always been saying, if you know you do not want to carry belle, but you are sexually active, the link is in our bio. Click the link in our bio, have a conversation with askNivi, learn about contraceptives, and askNivi will recommend one for you, and also recommend where you can go to buy a contraceptive, or where you can go to for a doctor to prescribe a contraceptive for you. Now, there are so many contraceptive videos on this TikTok handle, but I will never tell you to use anyone. I'll say, hey, Obina, tell your girlfriend to use this contraceptive. I'll say, hey, Ihoma Obasi, use this contraceptive. No, because there are different contraceptives for different situations. If you are somebody who you want to have, maybe you don't want to get pregnant now, but in the next 1 year you want to get pregnant, you cannot be using a contraceptive that has duration of 5 years. That's too much. If you know, okay, I'm just trying to avoid pregnancy for this month, but next month I'm open to getting pregnant, you cannot be using contraceptives that will last for 3 months. So before anybody is going to prescribe a contraceptive to you, the person will have to understand your peculiar situation and why you want to use this contraceptive. So like I've already said it, your fertility is not, your non-fertile day is not a foolproof to knowing when to avoid sex or when you cannot get pregnant.